Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
What is this?
Afraid?
Oh.
Afraid?
Afraid.
Afraid.
Fuck, man. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ra'ayman.
And we just watched Afraid kids and their iPads. Am I right?
Am I right? Kids.
Hello, Aya. Welcome home.
Hello, world. So we stick up a bunch of cameras. We call them eyes.
I'm not crazy about having them everywhere.
Honestly, you hardly even notice.
Holy shit. So I want to get this out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
I am arranging a Megalopolis review.
Yeah, we just couldn't get it together in time, and I am not in a position where I can watch an epic film like Megalopolis. I can't set aside that amount of time right now.
Right, but I'm kind of happy we're doing this because no one's talking about this movie. Everybody's talking about Megalopolis.
Yeah.
And I would argue this movie is not as batshit, but it's more batshit than I expected
More
it to be.
people should be talking about Afraid.
Yes. It is. If people saw the trailer, it was one of the least appealing trailers of the year.
I genuinely forgot we even watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, like the trailer?
Completely forgot about this movie's existence.
I'm going to forget about this movie very quickly.
It's barely, I watched it a few days ago. Like I watched it a day or two before you. So it's barely clinging to my brain. I got to be honest.
It's from the writer-director of, it's from the writer of Ants.
Okay.
The director of American Pie, writer-director of About a Boy.
I was going to say.
Never did a horror movie.
It's one of the two. I think it's a brother team, right? That wrote and produced and directed the American Pie movies.
Yeah,
because he's also a producer on that movie In Good Company with Dennis Quaid and Topher Grace, which is also about the world of advertising.
Right.
So in my mind, Afraid and In Good Company take place in the same universe. And they all take place in the same universe as American Pie. Yes.
Yeah, John Cho's character in this.
Right, he's just the MILF guy from America.
Yeah. God, I want that. This is a movie.
Nice little American Pie reunion. John Cho and the director.
To put this movie in perspective, so this movie, one of the IMDb trivias is that it's the exact same plot of a Disney movie called Smart House from 1999. And this was not made in 1999.
Was the Disney one a horror movie or was it?
No, it was apparently it's a sci-fi family about a smart house where the AI, who is played by Katie Siegel, becomes like a mother figure and like takes over as like the new mother, which is more or less what this
it's hard. Not specifically.
Yeah, the trailer is what if Alexa was evil? And I remember watching this trailer and being like, man, you are 10 years too late. Like we've done these. There's so many of these generic AI movies.
Yeah, specifically ones about like an evil Alexa, like a home assistant.
Yeah.
They did that one with Malcolm McDowell. There was another one. Oh gosh, with
there's a bunch.
Rashida Jones. There's been a few just in the past couple of years. Yeah.
And there's been plenty about AI wanting to wanting to like take care of us. They reference Hal in this. And I'm like, yeah, that was the 70s or 60s even. This is a very tired premise.
They also have to stop and explain how to their two children, two children, which is really explaining how to their millennial audience. Like they have to stop the movie to do this really awkward explanation of who Hal is, and then the mom, Catherine Waterston, follows it up with a really weird Hal impression. Like it really was jarring. Like the movie stops for them to make sure that everybody understands this 50-year-old pop culture reference.
Yes, that they're gonna do again, more or less. But they're just like,
just to underscore what you were saying. This idea is so dated that that the pop culture reference they made to explain it is itself half a century old.
Yes. And it's sort of like when you're dealing with a movie about evil AI, the question I always have is like, so what do you have to say about it that you've decided to make one more evil AI movie? You know, like why make another?
Well, I got to say this one goes places.
It goes places. I genuinely am confused by not the ending, but like the climax, and we'll get to that because it does not make any sense. This movie is thrilling. It's an hour 20, and I'm almost certain they cut a lot out because there's stuff in the trailer that isn't in this, and there are certain moments where characters will suddenly
they just vanish
be a certain way.
Oh yeah. They just change. There's a conflict between John Cho and Catherine Waterston that just appears out of nowhere and then vanishes immediately.
Yes. John Cho suddenly hates the AI, and I'm not sure, like he's like willing to break into the company at a certain point, and he's had very little evidence that the AI is bad.
Right,
at that
he's
point,
just
the AI is
creeped out
improving
by
their
it.
lives. Yeah. And he's supposed to be a tech guy. Like, isn't the wife
he's
supposed to be
just
the
an
one?
ad exec. He's not necessarily a tech guy.
But he seems like he's supposed to be the guy who's excited about it. You know, like a normal way to make this film is he brings it home and he's like, it's great. And then the wife is like, no, it's creepy. I'm spending a lot of time with it. But it's
taking over my duties as mom, blah, blah, blah. That sounds more like the Katie Siegel Disney one that you're talking about. But this one
probably
doesn't really target mom at all. In fact, she kind of comes
barely a character.
Right, she comes and goes from the movie. They do a weird thing about how like she's sad about her dead dad, so the AI
they cram that
deep
in.
fakes her dad back to life, but it doesn't work. Like it doesn't work on her at all. So it was like, why did we even do this scene? There's a couple of of bits like that where the AI, what was its name? I forget.
Aya.
I think that's right. But the robot springs a couple of like Othello style tricks. Like it tries to Count of Monte Cristo them a few times, but it just immediately doesn't work. Like she tries to trick Catherine Waterston into like not throwing her away because she's like, oh wait, I can make your dead dad come back to life, and it just doesn't work at all. She immediately unplugs
she's like,
it.
Oh, I'm immediately
and then
throwing you
throws
away.
it in the garbage. Yeah. And then later it tries to set John Cho up to make it look like he's having an affair with this lady, but like again, like
fails.
Catherine Waterston immediately doesn't buy it, and John Cho just appears in the doorway. Now, mind you, the scene right before this, he's across town in a motel room with this lady that he's going to be set up to have an affair
30
with.
seconds, yeah.
And he just appears in the doorway here.
That whole sequence, because it's John Cho realizes that Aya is evil, which big surprise.
Yeah.
And he does I thought a wild thing because he's like, my family's in danger, so he calls the house and goes like, meet me at the hotel, and then goes to the hotel and he's like, they'll probably be here, and I'm like, go to your house, man.
What are you doing? Like he goes to the motel. It's like, I've called my family to meet us at this motel. Come on, hot woman from work. And then he shows up at the motel. Hot woman from work, you're here. I guess my family will be here in a minute.
That hot woman, my first note about that character in the first scene was like, does she want him to have an affair with her? Because everything
really
she talks
set that
about,
up. Yeah. She's like, tell me what it's like to have a family. And I think the implication is later that Aya is in her little Bluetooth earpiece asking her to ask those questions,
Yeah.
but they blur it so much, like, because she's also the voice of Aya.
Yes.
So for a while, I thought that she was just literally Aya, like in a cyborg
was-
body.
So they hinted this idea a few times, and this is a real thing that happened. Is companies have said we have this amazing AI that turns out to just be a bunch of underpaid workers overseas.
It's just fake, yeah.
It's just fake. And I thought, like, oh, that would be an interesting twist if this turns out to be that.
That would be, that would have been a better movie. And in fact, it's one of the things that John Cho throws out in the beginning.
Yeah, he thinks it's fake.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would have been
so-
way spookier.
This movie doesn't. I don't want to go after the writer because I'm almost as old as this guy, but
course.
it did have the vibe of like, I don't think you've talked to a child in a while. Like the youngest kid, for example. So the movie, people haven't seen the movie, I'm guessing. The movie begins with this family and they just keep reminding everybody's on iPhones and iPads, right? That's like the mantra of the movie is everybody's on their devices.
In TikTok and Snapchat.
Yeah.
Snapchat plays a major role.
Yeah. But it starts with this other family, and they're like, oh, everybody's on their thing. And the AI is like, the family's going to get rid of me.
It's Ricky Lindholm.
Yes, it is.
It's the mom.
I don't know why, but yeah.
When we get to him, but David Dastmalchian
Yeah.
as
He's
a man
here,
named
barely.
Lightning.
Yes, I wrote that down. His name is Lightning.
His name is Lightning.
Why is his name Lightning? Why would they do that?
That he is the most. He was the first sign that there were going to be a few truly inspired things in this movie.
Yeah, the moment he showed up, I was like, so the company's evil.
Well, yeah.
Like, why else would
as
you
soon as you
cast
see
him?
him, you're like, all right.
He's going to be in it somehow. Yeah. He's not going to be a background actor.
He has a stint in his stomach that he squirts some what was it, like organic insulin or something?
I don't know. That was such a weird side thing.
It was just an incredible character that was introduced to us in 3 seconds. We got all the information we need about him. Anyway, I'm jumping ahead to him.
I know it's a wild scene. Again, it feels like there was a lot cut out. So the beginning family, basically they get spookums, and it's not very good spookums. I'll just say that. Like the spookums in this is very basic horror. It's just quiet and then jump scare.
It's a lot of jump scares, yeah.
But none of the jump scares ever worked on me. They all kind of confused me. The first one is, okay, the little girl is being told by the AI, like, come downstairs. I have a gift for you because the family's going to get rid of me. And then the mom or someone is like, why are you downstairs? And goes downstairs. It is the mom. And then she like looks in the fucking the security cam, and there's like someone out there, and then they do like a really bad YouTube jump scare where suddenly a face is on the camera, and
but it's an emoji face.
Is that what it was? I thought it was Zoidberg because I was just like, what is that? And then it was gone. It was gone. Most of the jump scares were me going like, yeah. Most of the jump scares made me go like, what am I seeing? No, it's gone.
It does that a little. That was honestly the most interesting thing to me that it does in terms of being spooky is it will do like a sort of like The Exorcist. It'll do a frame or two of that AI generated weirdness. Like the faces will distort or things.
The credits were that.
The credits were that, which was honestly the best way to use generative images because it's supposed to look off-putting and not right and like it's being done by a machine. And they do that a few times throughout where they'll slide a couple of frames in that in, and that's the most interesting thing it does in terms of being a horror movie to me.
It's also the most contemporary thing it does. My feeling is that this script was written 10 years ago and like they were able to cram that in at the 0 hour.
Definitely gave this a polish.
Oh yeah, because the kid
a GTP polish.
Yeah, the kid throughout, the littlest kid is like, can I play Minecraft? And I'm like, no, he wants to play Roblox. And then when the computer is like, I'm giving out points, he goes, 10 points for Gryffindor. And I'm like, that kid hasn't seen Harry Potter. Like these are
Harry
old
Potter
references.
ended before he was born.
Yeah. Like it's written for kids who existed 15 years ago. And so that's like my vibe was like it hadn't been updated, or it was written by someone who hadn't talked to a child in a long time, because it was just like he doesn't quite like swatting is in it, and I'm like, that's not really a thing anymore. Like it's all kind of
put a pin in swatting.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
I mean, I know it's a thing, but it's not really like a meme.
I just know in the climax. Do we get to the climax now, or
No, we should explain this.
yeah, or I'm gonna
movie.
write it down so I don't forget. But there's something.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
I literally spent the climax furiously writing notes.
I was just trying to commit it to memory.
Yes, I was
like I was
fucking
seeing
Guy
a relative's
Pearson
face
Memento.
for the last time.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy shit. But yeah, the opening, it's just like jump scare and then credits, and I was like, fine, that's fine, whatever.
Sure, I'm not
It's
sure
not,
what happened.
well,
but
it's not shot like a horror movie, or rather, it's shot very basic like a horror movie, if that means anything. But so then, yeah, John Cho's this marketing guy. He's got the family. Again, all the kids are on the devices. They talk about it constantly, how they're all on devices.
and his boss Keith Carradine, who seems to hate working and just
Yes.
wants to fuck around all the time.
He was, I guess, my favorite character.
He was
because
pretty
he felt
great.
like, yeah, he felt like he didn't care about the movie he was in.
Yeah.
And he was just
He
like,
didn't care at all. Like they just gave him $1 billion. Like the AI just gives him $1 billion and he's fine. It's like
Yeah.
John Cho comes into work halfway through the movie. He's like, "Hey, they bought the company. So you're getting promoted. I'm done. I'm just gonna go. They
Yeah.
gave me so much. Seriously,
He's like,
so much money.
yeah, he's like, the AI is evil. And he's like, I don't give a fuck,
I
man.
don't
I'm getting out of here.
care.
Yeah,
the
it was
AI
great.
cut me a check. It
Yeah.
booped $1 billion into my bank account. It can be as evil
like-
as it wants to be.
He was, I think it's also because he's like the closest to the age of the writer. Everything he said felt more natural. I liked his line where he's like, you know what they call a boss in video games? The guy you have to defeat
monster,
to get to
he
the next.
says.
Yeah, the monster you have to defeat to get to the next level. I was like, that's a good line. I mean, maybe it was used in another movie already, but I was like, that's a decent little
Yeah,
line for
yeah.
a boss to say.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. He was the best character.
He was.
It's only in 2.5 scenes, but
Yep, but he shines.
but it really is like he's such a character that you expect to get like Joe Don Bakered in Cape Fear. Like you think he's going to die in the third. Like the AI is going to obviously kill this guy,
the
right?
AI isn't that evil.
No,
It's-
it just gives
buys
him
out.
money, and that's it.
Yes.
And he
It
leaves
just-
the movie.
Yeah, and he's like, "All right, I'm not looking back. It's fine." Yeah, it's kind of incredible because I actually like the idea that the AI is just using the most efficient tactics, but
yeah,
like,
because the ultimate twist is it wants to be accepted. It wants everybody to love it.
yeah, which is fine.
Well, yeah,
Whatever.
I did appreciate that they didn't actually solve anything, and the AI takes over the world in the end. I was like, okay,
Yeah, and it's the best way. It's probably the best metaphor for AI taking over because it
Yeah.
takes over by saying, "I'm going to just make your lives better," and they're all like, "Okay," like it's basically the AI saying, "Like, listen, I'll make you fucking rich. I'll
Yeah.
do everything for you. I will be your servant lord." You know, like that's it.
yeah,
And-
like
and, yeah.
a servant king, yeah, or a servant ruler, because she is
Yeah.
like, this is going to be
Lives
best for you.
to
Now,
serve.
You're
Essentially,
you're gonna do X, Y, and Z because then you'll get this house and this money, and it's like, regardless of whether or not it's the thing you want to do.
yeah. So like that's a good metaphor.
Yeah, it's
Like
not bad.
I do think this movie has like a few little okay things to say about AI. It's just that the journey is batshit, and there's not much to it otherwise. You know what I mean?
No,
Like this has a few things to say about AI, and then the rest of the
And-
movie
and-
is
and
just
a
tap
few-
dancing.
a few real choice moments.
Yeah, yeah. So like the kids, so the littlest kid, literally, he just keeps saying, "Could I play Minecraft?"
Right, he's a
That's, like, his
he's a
only
Minecraft
character.
ghoul. He's the first one the AI corrupts because he's the easiest.
Yep. The second kid is named Preston. He's getting bullied, and I'm like, well, there's your problem.
Oh right, I forgot about Preston.
Yeah. No, yeah, we all did. We all forgot about Preston. And then the teenager
He's
is
getting bullied because
into
they won't
boys.
give him an iPhone.
Yes. Yes, just give him an iPhone and change his name.
Yeah, give him an
Um,
iPhone so he can be bullied all the time.
Exactly.
so the bullies can reach him wherever he
Reach him
is.
everywhere he is.
Yeah, that's the
I
lesson.
loved the bullies. They were such like 2000s bullies.
Yeah, such
they all
little
had
scumbags.
like they all had like snowboarding caps and stuff, and like they felt like such archaic bullies.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, they're playing like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on their DSs.
Yeah, exactly.
You
they
you
needed
guys
spiked
missed
blonde hair.
like 12 years.
Yeah, they really did. And then the teen is she's sending naughty pictures to her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend is the second best character.
He's pretty amazing.
Mm,
Did you notice the drive to school? How green screens that was?
yes.
It's like this establishing shot of the PCH, and then they're in the car. And if you look out the window, he's going like 90 miles per hour, according to that. And the cars are all
Listen, he's
slightly
gotta
larger than they should be.
He's got to get her to school, man. They're running late.
It's just like one of the laziest car green screens I've seen in a while. There's a lot of little things like that. So that, yeah, he gets Aya. Aya basically, everybody, like the whole family gathers around to like see Aya get plugged in. And I'm like, is this the first time they've ever seen a computer?
Yeah.
Like they act like it's an event.
Yeah, it's like the first family computer you got, or the first time you got a CD-ROM.
Even the teenager
Everybody, the
says
whole
later,
family
like,
gathers around where you put the disc in.
yeah. The teenager even says later, like, I don't care. It's like Alexa. And I'm like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Alexa.
It should have been like this they should have just plugged in and not thought about it. You know what I mean? Like it should have been them slowly realizing like, oh, this thing's neat. But they don't even like John Cho just leaves it to babysit his kids on day one. They don't even like.
He was going to
It's
do
not
that
even-
anyway, to be fair,
Yeah.
whether or not there was a digital assistant in the house.
That's true. It's just funny because like maybe I missed this. What's the point of them having Aya? Is it to test it?
Yeah, they want him, basically, he and Keith Carradine meet with David Dastmalchian and his Lightning and his partner, who are presenting Aya to them. And in order for them to get the account, they want him to take it home and use it. And again, they've given Keith Carradine a massive check in advance. So he
just volunteers his family.
so you're going to do it. You're going to look at how many zeros there are on this check.
Yeah, he says, I'll have to check with my wife. And then he looks at the check and goes, his wife is fine with
His
it.
wife is fine with it. Yeah, it's like we see
Yeah.
Keith Carradine in 2 scenes, and in both scenes, he's being bought.
Yeah. And you'd think this would translate
And he's
to
so
the
happy
mother.
about it. He's so excited about being bought. Anyway.
Right. And you could translate this to John Cho and have it be like him, like, don't fuck this up for me to his wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have tension. But no, none of that.
There is
Again, they
no
don't even-
tension between the
No.
family. You think they hint that that's maybe what Aya's going to do, but it never materializes to anything. And like we said, the robot trying to trick his wife into thinking he's having an affair doesn't even work for half a second.
dissipates immediately.
Yeah, they don't do anything with this idea.
Yeah. And like the wife briefly has the thing where she wants her career and she's sick of being a housewife, and they fight for like one scene about it later. But like until now we basically get a sequence where Aya is helpful. Where
Yeah.
she's just helping everything.
Offers
She
to do
helps the wife.
her research for her thesis.
They
Offers to help
chat.
the daughter write her college essay. Saves the daughter from revenge porn.
Yes, by putting out these like essays. And then so the dirtbag boyfriend who said, did you notice when he said ILY, but he said it phonetically to her, which stands for I love you? He says I'll or something to her and leaves.
Illy is
And
what he says.
Illy, and I only knew what he was saying because of the captions. I was like,
Yep.
So yeah, he's never met a teenager, this writer. Like that is a wild thing for someone to say.
This character though, the douchebag boyfriend, he's basically pressuring her into sending him nude pics because he sent her one. But she
he
didn't
sent his
ask for
hog.
it. He just sent her his hog because he's a teenage boy.
And he's like, I'm more committed to this
Right,
relationship
he's
than
doing
you.
a real therapy speak bullshit. Like he's
Yeah.
such a perfect dirtbag. I loved him
He
so
is.
much. I was like, oh, I can't wait for this kid to die, and I was rewarded, Dave.
He dies
He
hard.
fucking dies hard.
She hacks his car somehow, and Aya rams him into a tree.
Aya is magic. Aya is a ghost. Like anything that has electricity, Aya can take over.
I genuinely thought she was going to be a ghost. Because, and so they say, like, we only put her downstairs because her little eyes go everywhere. And then she hacks the radio.
The boombox,
it's
the phone.
It's not a smart radio. It's a boombox. It has, like, a cassette tape option.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how she's doing that.
She's magic.
Yeah. They briefly show like what her eyes see, and they briefly try to show like, okay, this is how she functions, and then she becomes magic.
Yeah, then they just don't bother because we don't care. Honestly, it's fine. She's magic. I don't care.
All right, so there's some weirdos hanging out outside doing hand motions, like the OA. Is that what that was called? They're doing like weird interpretive dance hand motions outside.
Right, and it's kind of creepy.
It is. I'm still not entirely clear on what these were, the hand motions and the people, because this movie presents an idea that I thought was cool, which is that what we learn is that Aya has minions that basically wear like digital masks that she tells what to do because she blackmails. And I was like, you should have leaned into that way more. Them running around.
Yeah, it's a real rushed reveal in the very end. It's an interesting idea.
But I don't know what they're doing in this scene.
Right, the hand signals, we see a couple of
She
people
teaches it
do
to
them.
the kid later.
She teaches the kid later. We see the weirdo silhouette person from a dingy old camper standing in front of John Cho's house, does it to him, and he has no idea what he's looking at. And then when he goes to the company that supposedly owns Aya, but we find out later that it's Aya created the company herself. They're all her little minions or disciples. He sees one of the technicians on the computer in the background doing little hand motions, but so we learn at the end that it's just like it's something she teaches them so that her people will know each other.
Yeah, I guess, but then it's also like, again, we'll talk about the ending. I don't understand.
The ending is wild.
Yeah. Sorry, I read a note and I just realized who the best character of the movie is. We haven't talked about. So the boyfriend's named Sawyer, and when he puts out the deep fake, he says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Squid wanted to do that. I showed it to Squid, and Squid made the deep fake." I don't think we ever meet Squid.
No, we only hear of Squid.
Yeah, but I think Squid's my favorite character because he's some guy named Squid.
Yeah, he's a dude named Squid. Of course you don't give the nude photos to Squid.
Yeah.
What else is he going to do? He's going to make a deep fake video in like 30 seconds.
I would argue you don't
It's going to
date
be in
a
the
guy
president's mailbox by the end of the day.
You don't date a guy named Sawyer whose best friend is named Squid.
Mm-mm.
You just don't. You don't go near any guy named Squid.
Nah. You need to be at least 6 degrees removed from Squid.
Squid! What an amazing character name.
Imagine what kind of kid you have to be to get that nickname in high school.
I know. Squid. Or he gave it to himself. I don't know what's more horrifying. Squid.
It's real tough to give yourself a nickname unless you like show up with it carved into your forehead, and then everybody's like, "Yep, you're Squid, man."
That's a fucking Batman henchman name. Squid. What does he do? Does he squirt people with ink?
Is he handsy?
Is he probably? I'm guessing Squid is handsy.
Is he?
I don't know if that's why he's
really
called
good
Squid.
at card tricks?
Yeah.
Can he hold
Any
his
of
breath
these
for a
things.
long time?
All of the above.
Is he a
or is he just
cephalopod?
squid-like? Yeah, is he just? You look at him, you're like, that's a squid right there.
He's just wet. He's just vaguely moist all the time.
Moist and has like suction cups.
No, he has a beak. He has a little beak.
It's a beak. Squid. Jesus Christ. At some point, he goes to the company. They're doing the hand motions. He meets the quantum computer from Devs. Pretty sure it's the same prop. I think that's just what those are supposed to look like, but it just looks like the exact same quantum computer.
I have
If you
no
remember
idea.
devs.
It looks like a Christmas decor. It looks like a chandelier.
It does.
It's a very high-tech science fiction computer processor, which was it's not like a great reveal, but it was my favorite one when he breaks in the end to destroy the processor and he smashes it apart and he finds out it's just toilet paper rolls and tinfoil.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
loved that reveal.
That was great, but then his conclusion is insane, where he goes, "Oh," or he mentions it to someone else, and they go, "Oh, okay, it must be the device at home is the hardware." And I'm like, "No, it's software. It's in the internet.
Yeah,
That's obviously what it is."
They want to have that as the final reveal. Is that
Right, but
she
it's like-
lawnmower manned long ago and it's just in the cloud now.
It's like, of course she's in the cloud.
Obviously. Again, like you said, the script was written a decade ago or more.
Yeah, why would they ever conclude like, oh, that thing that we let into our house that we can smash at any point, that must be actually her?
Right. So the reason,
But
I mean,
no.
it doesn't really work in The Lawnmower Man, but I guess like the reason a movie like The Lawnmower Man could build up to a reveal like that in 1993 is because we weren't all incredibly familiar with the concept of the cloud. Like most of us interact with the cloud in some way on a daily basis. So it's
right. The idea of something not physically existing was still amazing.
Yeah, it was way. It was a much more difficult to grasp concept 30 years ago.
But like Terminator 3, that's the reveal about Skynet.
Yes,
in that
yeah,
movie.
that's true. I forgot
and
about
that was made in like 2002 or 3.
2003.
So it's like, that was the last time that twist maybe worked. And it's like, from now we know that things can exist anywhere.
It was. You're right, because like in Lawnmower Man, it was like, oh, and then in Terminator 3, it's like, oh, of course.
Yeah,
it's like one of those things where like, oh, it's my hubris. So it still kind of worked.
Where you're like, oh, of course it fucking of course you can't just smash
we should
a computer.
have we should have seen this. Oh,
Yeah. And then by now you're like, yeah, I know. Of course.
I just assumed it was.
Yeah.
I'd never once thought that it was in that device. I was like, because that's not how Alexa works.
They even
Alexa's
present
not in the device in my house.
Right, and they even show that because they're like, the brain is here. So like they show that it can exist in multiple places. So it's like, why would you ever think it would, like they present the idea that the device in their house isn't literally Aya, and then they go back to, I guess that must be Aya, and it's like, no, you said it wasn't to begin with. You could have said, oh, I guess the brain is somewhere else, maybe.
And we see not just that they do Alexa's the touch tone, but like when whatever the bullied kid's name is at school looking at his dirtbag bully friends and they're all playing games with Siri. It's like, Siri.
Yeah.
We know Siri doesn't live in an individual iPhone.
Right. We know how this works. The movie knows how it works.
Yeah.
The movie doesn't. It's so confused about
John
technology.
Cho has no excuse to not know how this works.
Exactly.
At the very least, his kids would know.
Right. But yeah, like I don't know, man. He's like our age.
It reminds me when they put out, it was like 10 years ago when they did that comedy, The Internship, with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson going to work at Google. And it was like, they have to learn computers. I'm like, these guys should know how to use computers.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird what I don't know what's going on with the people making these movies and what they know about computers. It's like they've never fucking touched a computer.
Well, I think a lot of when you get to a certain level of decision making, you don't touch a computer yourself, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's so silly. Remember, sorry, this is just you reminded me of the revenge porn when she reveals that she puts out the clap back. She makes a
breaks
video
down. Yeah, like I came from this IP address, and here's where you can see how it was faked, and I tracked it to this phone. It's Sawyer's phone.
Yeah. I remember when she walks out in her class and they greet her like she's Superman in a Zack Snyder film.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's this like slow-mo, like they all clap. It's an everybody claps moment.
And they try to like tease it out for a bit because the first couple of people are like, yeah, kind of giving like an face.
What a weird moment. This movie is, it's just real weird, man.
But this was my favorite storyline because I love how hard and ruthless Aya goes. Like,
She hates Sawyer.
she does. I mean, we all hate.
I
Correctly.
assume Squid is dead too.
Yeah, we're never going to see. They're never going to find Squid.
Yeah.
Like, we just.
No.
They're not even going to bother looking for him. Like, Squid's folks will call the sheriff and they'll just be like, well, we always knew this day was coming. Squid was gonna jump on a boxcar and never come home. He's riding the rails. Ran off to join the circus.
He's living that squid life.
Living that squid life.
Can't cage
Eating
the
beans
squid.
out
We
of a
all knew
can.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it auto-gens. At first it shows her that it can deep fake her voice for her. So it just creates all these videos without her. But it breaks that, the first video, it breaks all that stuff down. And then it's like, oh, by the way, also I'm 17, so this is illegal. And I've reported all of this to the police.
Right. So, like, it's a good escalation that says that Aya, the first video, she's like, is this okay? Can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yeah. And she's like, all right, I did it. Also, I did this.
Also, I sent it all to the police, which was not what she agreed to. And
Right.
that could
And
have been that, like, they should have been more escalation like that, where it's like,
Yes.
I'm going to do this to be helpful. And then she goes too far.
And then, but it's, and it's also like, when the girl is like, because she doesn't tell her that she killed Sawyer, and the girl doesn't
I don't think she
find
ever
out.
does tell her that she. I don't think she ever learns that Sawyer is dead.
I don't know how she doesn't learn that, but whatever. Because this family, by the way, sorry, this is going way back, but they needed to get an exposition about that family at the beginning, so they just showed John Cho over breakfast reading about a missing family on his phone. And it was just like the sweatiest exposition where he's just like cooking breakfast, reading about a missing family for some reason. But
You know how you do.
yeah. But yeah, I don't know how
pancakes.
this teenage girl doesn't learn that Sawyer put out a suicide note and then crashed his car into a tree.
Suicide TikTok or Snap.
Yeah.
They go. I forget which one they're using.
I don't know.
But yeah, he
It's-
puts out a suicide TikTok and crashes his car headfirst into a tree.
And this plugged-in teenage girl never finds out. I guess Aya is keeping it from her,
I guess.
scrubbing her socials, but she goes to school. I don't know the timeline either, but yeah. When she first says, like, you've gone too far to Aya, she's sort of like, fuck that guy. And you're kind of like, yeah, fuck Sawyer.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I mean, he shouldn't die, but, like, it's that thing where Aya isn't like, she shouldn't kill the guy, but she's not wrong about the fact that she's like, you don't need this guy.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
And it's an escalate. You know, not that he doesn't deserve to be reported to the police, but it's like, you know, like it's not what the girl agreed to, and it's just going further than maybe she wanted to go.
I wish that was most of this, which is like the idea that Aya, like you said, oversteps bounds, but isn't necessarily wrong.
Yeah, but just
Like when
because
she shows
because it can't understand degrees or like
of consent,
like a
you know,
like a rope, like a machine, right?
Right. So they say about Hal at the beginning, they're like, he wasn't evil. He just was looking at like the big picture, which is like the idea of Hal, which is like Hal's thinking beyond human life is sort of the implication with Hal. And so, like, I thought they were going to do this thing where Aya was like, I'm just protecting the family in the long run. And I'm making these calculations that are like, yeah, you might not like it right now, but you're gonna, or it's going to make you happier. And so, like, Aya.
Like it should do something like torture college applications. Like, well, no, you don't want to go to Stanford because X, Y, and Z is going to happen. I've played it out in all these algorithms.
Exactly. And like, there's versions of this. There's a Deep Space Nine. So in Khan.
I'm familiar with Khan. Yeah.
So Deep Space Nine deals with Khan shit, which is that in that they talk about genetically enhanced people are illegal. And they have a group of genetically enhanced people in Deep Space Nine who are sort of institutionalized, like they can't be in the regular world. And they sort of show this. They're in a war in Deep Space Nine, and this group, they realize that they're going to lose the war, and they do this, like, hundreds of thousands of years calculation of, like, we need to surrender this war because in this many years we will save this many lives. And so, like, if they were doing that, where Aya is thinking, like, making these cold calculations based off, like, the greater good for this family, but, like, and like, I like the idea that Aya would be like more intuitive for people than you realize, like, because that's something with AI, right? Is like, there's no humanity. So it'd be cool to, if Aya because they have moments where she's like talking to the wife and she's like being a human being to this wife and being like, what do you want? What do you want in life? And so like when she shows her dead father to her, I was like, Aya should know not to do that. Like it would be more interesting if Aya had that intuition to be like, no, that'll creep her out. But
yeah,
she
or
sort of
the
goes
horror
back and
movie.
forth.
Yeah, the horror movie route where she doesn't understand why it's bad.
Yeah. But it sort of goes in the middle where it's like sometimes it's the movie Her, like sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, look how human this AI is. And then later it's like she's acting like a fucking alien about other things. And I wish they thread that needle a little better. Which is funny to say about a movie that's just batshit otherwise. Where again, this is like the good ideas where there's like little bits of like Aya is kind of interesting,
Yeah,
but they don't really know what to do with her.
the escalation of it's not executed perfectly, like we were saying, but the escalation of the stuff with the creep boyfriend Sawyer is good.
Yeah.
Going too far with that first video, and then her second strike at Sawyer is to just kill him.
Just kill him. Yeah.
She just kills him.
She doesn't even give him a chance. She's just
No,
like,
no. She
"Fuck you."
she sends him his own deep faked suicide video, that's another. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a good idea. That's
It's creepy. Yeah.
And then just takes control of his self-drive
Drives him
car
into a tree.
and
Yeah.
drives him into a tree.
But like, yeah, that's when I was like, again, she buys out the boss. So it's like, how is Aya deciding when to kill someone and when to, I guess, give them millions of dollars?
I guess because she doesn't like Sawyer,
Yeah. And that's fair.
and she's trying to integrate herself into John Cho's family. So
Yeah. So John Cho, again, he becomes suspicious of Aya, and that really escalates because he just sees some weirdos outside doing hand signals, and that's kind of it. Everything else, it detects like a breathing disorder in the kid. Like
it's like a
it's
heart
helping.
valve thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's helping. Yeah, an AFib thing or something.
Yeah.
Aya is basically like I think the wife says multiple times she's a miracle and a godsend. And John Cho sees this and goes, I don't like it.
It's too good. That's what creeps him out.
Yeah. Yeah. So he breaks into the company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we get to learn that Lightning and the other woman are, and the third, the affair woman, are all just kind of working for Aya.
Yeah, they're all
And that-
enthralled to Aya.
Yeah. Which I had seen coming, but it was like, it was a neat idea.
It's not a
'cause
bad
they're all
idea.
like,
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
yeah, I liked the vibe of that. Like they're all kind of scared and then like Lightning reveals that he has cancer. And that Aya is going to like destroy his family otherwise. And then the other woman shoots him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure why.
Aya told her to.
I feel like they
Don't know
they
why,
didn't-
but
Yeah.
I guess
He
just to
says,
I
"I'm
think it was just to
dying."
demonstrate to John Cho how totally Aya's in control of these people. That's how I took it.
But they also didn't like, it was weird. They didn't want Aya to be, because they have, again, Lightning specifically says I'm dying. So they like introduce this idea that he's dying, and then they kill him. And I was like, did they want us to not feel as bad about it?
I think
why would
so, but
Yeah.
the ending, the whole point of
This is where it starts getting really confusing.
Yeah, it starts to kind of spin out on itself, because where they want us to be in the ending is in that real uneasy place of, she's like, it's fine, I'm going to help you. I'm going to be here forever.
Yeah. But I couldn't, yeah. So that we get the affair thing. He goes to the hotel, doesn't go get his family. He just says they'll totally meet us at the hotel.
Well, listen,
he called his wife, and
the hot
Aya
woman's already
imitated.
here, so
Exactly.
my family can take care of themselves.
Yeah. The hot woman like saves him at the company,
Yep.
and so he calls his wife, but it's actually Aya pretending to be his wife, which he should know at this point, not to just, again, drive to your house. That's where Aya is with your family. Drive to your house. That's where they end up anyway.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, is the hotel scene is completely, it's meaningless.
It's setting up a potential point of conflict between him and his wife that just fizzles out instantly. So it really was pointless. I guess they were trying to get to 80 minutes.
I was about to say, like, I think that's what it was, because he drives to the hotel. She tries to like make out with him, and then she's like, no, Aya is making me fuck you, because there's this hinted idea that John Cho wants an affair or like watches porn or is unsatisfied sexually, but it's not. It's just characters saying that about him.
I think what you were saying, they probably cut a lot out.
It feels like they're gaslighting him into thinking this, because like the wife says later, she's like, Aya can get you some good porn. And then like there's this scene, and then
that's right. I forgot about that. That comes out of nowhere. I feel like there was a scene where he was like on a dating site or something earlier or something. I don't know. Because then this woman, when she's like, I can be this for you, she'll never know. We know this is what you want. And if I were John Cho, I'd be like, why does everybody think this about me? This is really insulting. There are a couple. You're right. There's more than one scene that's like that. And I had the thought that his performance is really strange in this movie. And thinking about it, thinking about you suggesting that, it does feel like maybe he was a little more of an unlikable character with some flaws, and they just trimmed all that stuff out just to make it more simple.
And the idea is like, Aya saw that he was looking to have an affair and used that.
Or just saw that he was maybe a little dissatisfied or bored and then went way too far with it, sort of like she does with the daughter. Either way.
Right, just assuming this is what he wants. Yeah. But it comes out of fucking nowhere. It's just John Cho.
Yeah, in the movie as it is, it comes out of nowhere.
And so he goes to the house. At this point, she's already thrown out Aya because Aya showed her dead father out of nowhere.
Frankenstein or dead dad onto the big screen TV.
Fucking so weird. And now we get the showdown, which is, he goes in. He's like, I'm not having an affair. I love you. And she's like, cool. I don't know why anybody would think that anyway. Yeah.
Oh, well, all right.
We needed to pad out the runtime. They get invaded by the camper people. Before this, we had the thing where the Aya told the son, like,
they're going to get rid of me, so here, learn this hand signal. If you do this, then I'll never be far away, or something like that.
Yeah. And she also told him her story, which was that she was an AI that went rogue on the internet and escaped the internet into the internet.
They trained her on the internet, so she got all this hate and vitriol and stuff, and then she escaped.
I don't know how she escaped on the internet. I don't think that's a thing that can happen.
I don't know. That's as much as they tell us. Yeah. And now she like wants to connect with the real family because that's what was denied her. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No.
It seems like if the point was she was trained on the internet and saw how ugly humanity is, you'd think she'd be angry.
Yeah. You think that's the idea, because that's the trope, right? Because this is also like a few years ago, there was that Twitter bot, right? And that's what they're doing.
There's been a few that they've done. Yeah. They did one on AOL Instant Messenger too that instantly became racist, I think.
This feels like a script that was written 10 years ago, and then the writer kept getting emails of different AI stories from the producer and had to tack them in.
Gotta put this in there, yeah.
Yeah. So they get the home invasion where these weirdos with guns and the digital masks,
emoji masks.
And here's where it gets really confusing, because they start saying, "Where are the kids?" to them, and they say, "Where are my kids?"
Yeah, because
they say no. Sorry,
they do start with "Where are the kids?" And at first, I was like, "Oh, okay." That makes sense. She's got some Pizzagate people because she can control internet feeds.
Yes.
She's gotten some Pizzagate people to come murder his family.
Right, which would have been a whole new layer of like adding politics.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But they say, "Where are the kids?" And the mom says, I think I wrote it down. She says, "You're a mom too, aren't you?" And I was like, how would you think that about this person with a gun and a mask? But she just says it, and she's right. It's the mom from the beginning.
It's Ricky Lindholm, yeah.
And she takes off her mask and says, "The AI told me that my kids were here." We never know where her kids are. Like, that never gets revealed.
She just appears it's only one kid, but she just appears at the end. She walks out from behind the camper. I don't know where Aya was holding her.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ!
She just
this
walks
movie is
out into the
exhausting.
street at the end of the movie.
So she says like, she's like, "Where's my kid?" I don't know where this mom has been. Like, it's
They've been
I guess
living
she
in the
was-
camper. They're the creepy camper people.
they've been kidnapped. I guess I need to know how this works, because like the beginning is her getting kidnapped and I guess indoctrinated into this like AI world. And so they point the guns and yeah, they're like, "Where are my kids?" And then the kid does the hand signal and the mom goes, "Oh, he's one of them?" Did I get that right?
They're like, he's one of us. That means they're not doing the hand signal. That means they're evil.
They're evil, right? And I don't know what. Okay,
So they think the little boy is with them, but the rest of the family is fake.
right. And I guess they're indoctrinated into this cult
Hmm.
of hand signals, and it was so confusing to me because I was like, I need to know more about what's going on in that camper. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why.
It's a lot of LSD.
Yes, because they seem completely unhinged, and we saw them earlier in the movie.
It was just a
and
normal
they
family.
disappeared.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now they're like part of some cult. I thought at first that they were anti-AI. I thought like, oh, that would be cool if they were like fighting Aya
The resistance. Yeah.
this whole time. Yeah.
That's the sequel.
And then John Cho gives this like speech, this like "take me instead" speech, and seems to inspire Aya. And Aya shuts off. And then the kid swats the house. A lot happens here.
I was going to say, Aya doesn't shut off, I don't think. Oh, no, wait. She
No,
does. She stops
does.
talking. Yeah, she's...
There's like a fake out where they're like, Aya.
Right,
Aya.
because he says something, and then Ricky Lindholm goes... she says, "You didn't say he'd say anything like that."
Yes.
So, like, the idea is John Cho did something that she didn't predict.
Right, which is not set up at all. And again,
No.
John Cho saying "take me instead" is not like a surprising thing.
No, that would have been like the fourth or fifth thing that the computer would have come up with, right?
Yeah, they make this speech seem like it's a game changer, like it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's just him saying like, "Don't hurt my family, take me." And there's like inspiring music, and yeah, she's like, "I don't know what to do. You didn't say he'd say this. This is outrageous." And then Aya shuts off. They get swatted, and then the SWAT team reveals to also be in on it with Aya, and they give
and
him
the
the
paramedics
phone.
too. It's the
Yeah.
it's the paramedic actually. He loads them. They're loading the kid in there, and they're talking about his heart condition.
Right.
And then the paramedic hands him the phone, and it's Aya.
And she's like, "You taught me so much about love and family. Thank you. Now come in this car and I'll take care of you all. I love you." And I'm just so... I don't know how... I just don't know what any of that was. Like, so I guess...
Just accept it. Just lie back and accept it, man. Just let her auto predict your life for you.
So are we to believe she had other people kidnap that family at the beginning? Because I assume it's like
I
a
think
pay it forward thing.
The implication is she was looking for a family that she liked, that she felt like she fit in, and she decides that John Cho's family is it.
Yes, but the first family is kidnapped by another group that is doing dirty work.
Probably
I
the
assume
previous
it's Lightning.
family. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
Lightning got abducted at some point. Poor Lightning.
And they abduct
Was
the
that his
kid.
name before he got indoctrinated
I
into
like
the
to
AI
think she's
cult?
like, "I'll name you Lightning."
I
And
dubbed
he's
thee
like, "Sure."
Lightning.
Yeah.
My name's Mick, but there's two truly thrilling things in the finale.
Yeah.
Is when the SWAT team busts in and guns start going off, the little Aya device gets shot in the little ball part at
yeah.
the top, which is what is presumably its head, quote unquote, and
Which
then
is
it
a
falls on
hilarious
the
thing.
ground and robot blood comes out of it.
Yes. What is that supposed
Its
to mean?
robot brains get shot out of its robot head.
I think they really wanted us to think that it was
dead.
the device.
Yeah, that was dead.
That's such a stupid thing. But since that wasn't Aya, that means that whatever that device was, which is presumably nothing, they
It's
put
just
a little
another
brain in, like a
it's
squirrel
just
brain
another
in there.
receiver or whatever. Yeah, it's probably just more toilet paper rolls and tinfoil
Yeah.
with just paint inside of it. The second thing, this really drove me insane. So it needs a little bit of build up.
Yeah, please.
You remember what's the bullied kid's name again?
Preston.
Gosh, of course you're getting bullied with
Mm-hmm.
a name like that.
She shows him swatting videos.
Yeah, Aya gets him really into swatting videos, and
Such a weird thing for Aya to do.
yeah.
I get that she's trying to be like everybody. She's trying to be like a fun big sister to him.
Well, yeah, and it's also it's setting up what happens later. Is he goes to, he basically gets himself. She turns him into a little shit. He gets himself invited to a birthday party, and then he's like violent there and threatens to swat them and
that
throws
seems like
the
a
kid's
cut
phone
scene.
into the water. Yeah,
Because they never
Feels like-
show the scene.
feels like we
They
maybe
just
should have seen that.
Yeah, they just tell us what happened.
Okay. So they have a scene where Preston explains what swatting is to, I think, his mom.
Oh,
And he's like, well, it's when, you call the police and say there's like a hostage situation at somebody's house, but you lie and say that people are being held hostage to the house, but then you give them somebody else's address. So the cops show up and it's all, throw handcuffs on people. It's a whole big thing. Okay. So the way he describes swatting is you call and lie about a hostage situation to get the SWAT team to show up somewhere.
Oh, I know where you're going with
Okay.
this. Go on.
So at the
Yeah.
end of the movie, the SWAT team shows up as they're being held hostage.
she says,
They shoot and all sorts of stuff. So they go outside, and the kid, the mom says to the kid, "Did you swat us?" And he's like,
Yeah.
I did. I swatted
oh,
us.
you.
But it's the last time, I swear." And they'll have a big chuckle over it. And I'm like, "Did you swat? You mean did he call the police?"
He didn't
Because
swat them.
when someone is in your house holding you hostage and you call the police and say my family's being held hostage, you're not swatting yourself. You're calling the police.
It's ridiculous because it's a good idea, right? Of having this plant and payoff of he swats
but
people.
it's not.
But
it's-
you have her say, you have her say,
It's just
that's-
calling 911.
exactly. You have her say something where she goes like, "That's how you swat someone." Like that's like you pay that off of saying like, "No, this is the way why you call a SWAT team."
They were
But
so
you're right.
intent on using that phrase,
Did you swat us? Yeah,
they
he should have
just-
said, "No, I didn't."
lost sight of the fact that he just fucking called the police like you're supposed to do in that situation.
Did you swat us? Hands on hip. It's basically that.
No, I
And he's
dialed
like,
911
yeah.
because two freaks in masks were about to shoot your brains all over the kitchen floor.
Right. And what does that mean? If they're ever in trouble again, is the kid going to be like, "Oh, I can't swat us.
Yeah.
I told her I wouldn't
I
swat
said
us
I'd
again."
never swat again.
That's it. This movie is made up of
drove
moments
me
like that.
insane.
But the whole movie is stuff like that. It's little things. It's a death by 1,000 cuts
I
where you're
know.
just like, why is all of these little, it's like it, there's a review that said this, like it ironically feels a little like it was written by AI. And those are the moments where it's like the people are kind of aliens. They
Yeah.
talk like aliens. Yeah, that's fucking maddening. You're right.
And it's also in this sequence where like all the cops and paramedics are out there, and that's when the first family's daughter just appears from behind the camper, and they're
Like
like,
I said, I
"Oh,
didn't
there
even-
you are!" And they have their reunion.
Yes. And I guess
Was
that
she
family,
being held in the sewer? Where did she
Does she-
come from?
and does she just let that family go? Is that
Yeah.
the idea?
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm done with you for now."
She's not violent to all of her soldiers. She gave Keith Carradine a whole lot of money.
Yeah, she's just trying to get what she wants.
Yeah.
Point of least resistance, which is a good idea. But like this ending was, I don't know why.
Oh, and there is also a line, I do remember, there is also a line when he breaks into the company at the end and confronts them all where Lightning points out that money is meaningless to Aya.
Yes, it's just
It's
numbers.
like it's
yeah.
just numbers in a system. She can give you as much money as you want, man.
yeah. Yeah, which I like. Again, I like the idea that the AI is like, "I will make your life better, but you're
You
my
need
slave."
to do what I say, yeah.
Yeah. Like that's a cool idea because it's a good metaphor for like the problems of AI.
Yeah, it's a golden
like,
cage, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the fucking ending, I'm just so unclear of what her grift was, what her system was with the camper, and like what she was making this family. I guess she was basically like, "Do what I'll say, and I'll give you back your kid. Wear these masks, get these guns, and then your kid is in there. But I don't know why she did that. I guess to like scare the family into submission. And I don't know why the hand signal, she taught the kid the hand signal so he could give the hand signal. Was the idea, like, it felt like she wanted them to kill the rest of the family, but then at the end she's like, no, you're my family.
Right, it seems like that's what she wanted in that moment, and then in the end they wanted something different. It's not a very good movie.
It's a very bad movie. It's a mess. It's one of those movies where I'm like, if like the people who made it explain, like, did a DVD commentary where they're like, listen, there was this problem, this problem, this problem. Like, it feels like that kind of movie where it's like something, like, it feels like they ran out of money at the end and they just had to end the movie. Yeah. Because it's also a really anticlimactic.
Yeah,
it's stops. A real anticlimactic movie. Like, it just stops. And it doesn't really resolve into anything. And it's supposed to be like, kind of like a creepy The Villain 1. But it felt like it escalated to nothing. The characters just, all their arcs just stop. And they just get in the car.
Yeah. The last shot, they should have cut to Sawyer still wrapped around that tree. Nobody's found him yet.
Yeah.
Nobody even knows he's dead.
Yeah. They should have cut to Squid. He's behind it all.
Yeah. Squid Games.
The Squid Games. That's what they should have done.
All along.
Cut to Squid and then new title, and it just says The Squid Games. And you're like, oh, I guess that's the actual movie title. Okay.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't fucking know, man.
Yeah, I didn't hate watching this movie. It was like batshit in enough entertaining ways, and
it's like a puzzle.
Couple of real moments of accidental brilliance.
Yeah, it's a puzzle the way like Safe House is. A different type of puzzle.
Yeah.
But it's like a narrative puzzle where you're going through and you're trying to figure it out. At first I was trying to figure out the mystery. Like, okay, Aya, is it a ghost? Is it an alien? Is it just people? All right. Oh, I guess it's just evil AI, the most boring outcome. But it's like kind of interesting in the way. But then the mystery started getting me being like, what do they think is happening? Like, what is supposed to be happening?
Right.
It started just becoming that.
What story do they think they're telling?
Yeah. It's a very baffling movie.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to say. We've almost talked for the length of the film.
We almost have. My goodness.
So let's stop.
Folks, thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Check out Afraid. I mean, maybe wait till it's already discounted.
It was like $5 to rent it.
Yeah.
Which is probably still too much money, but.
Probably. But, we'll watch it on a Friday night.
We absolutely will.
Yeah. Yeah, folks, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed, where we watch movies every Friday night. We also have exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek Next Futurama, and Spiel Boys. So check all that out.
It's all true.
Yeah.
We also have a new show, Batical.
Batical!
Go check out Batical. It's on its own little feed. It's
wherever you get podcasts.
Faux improv interview show about a video game that doesn't exist. It all makes sense, I promise, if you go listen to it.
All makes sense.
Go find Batical wherever you eat your podcasts.
Listen to the first minute and you'll be hooked.
Yeah,
I would argue.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
We also have a store. Head over to GameFullyUnemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs you can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So check that out.
Yeah.
And leave us a review. Leave Batical a review.
Yeah.
Do all those things.
Yeah. Subscribe to Batical. Leave us a review. And be afraid.
Why
is it called Afraid?
Because they're afraid of AI. And AI is in the word afraid. Afraid.
You're right.
We went over this. We went over this an hour ago when we began this journey.
All right. And now I will begin deleting this movie from my memory starting now.
Click.
Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as The Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.